Hello, everyone. Good morning, guys. Good morning and good evening. First of all, thank you very much for sparing your weekend to learn something new and really exciting. And my name is Manoj Verma, and welcome to Cloud DevOps Training. And this is my batch 55. So again, one more time, I would like to convey my deepest thanks for sparing your weekend to learn something new and give me an opportunity to deliver something really interesting and exciting. And I wish that I'm going to make the next 90 minutes of time very much interesting. All right. So without delay, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Manoj Verma. I'm a working professional with 11 years of experience, and from last 9 years, I'm also into training as a part-time. And so far, I have successfully delivered 53 batches. So this is my 55th batch. I completed 53 batches, and 54th batch is going on. I mean, technically, this is my 55th batch. So currently, I'm working as a lead DevOps engineer in one of the company in Bangalore. Mostly, my experience is around enterprise and enterprise grade companies. And in my career, I also worked for a couple of years in startup during the beginning of my career. And so my experience is mostly around enterprise. So my teaching style, my examples, my examples that are close to be the enterprise grade, so that will help you while giving your interviews, so that you can try to relate and try to deliver in that context. And coming to the training schedule is Monday to Saturday, morning 7:30 to 9 o'clock India time. If you're joining from India, and if you're joining from states, the training schedule is Sunday to Friday, and evening 10 to 11:30. Okay, so I repeat, if you're joining from India, the schedule timings are Monday to Saturday, morning 7:30 to 9 o'clock India time. And if you're joining from US, the batch timings are Sunday to Friday, evening 10 to 11:30 Eastern. Okay, if you are in Central or Pacific, try to reduce -1 or -2. Okay, that's about it. That's my introduction. And another thing, if anyone wants to speak, you have an option, hand raise option. You can unmute and talk. Okay, so the main reason why we have not enabled the speaker option to anyone is to ensure that parallel speaking, to restrict the parallel speaking. And this training is completely interactive training. It's a online interactive training, which also means if you want to interact with me or if you want to connect with me, you can unmute and talk. If you don't have the mute option or unmute option, there is a hand raise option for you. All you need to do is click the hand option. The moment you click the hand option, I'll give you the mute option. Okay. At least for today, I would like to continuously talk for 1 hour. That's the schedule that I have. And then I'll give you the mute option. You can unmute and talk. In the meanwhile, if you want to talk to me also, you have a mute and unmute option, which you will get it the moment you raise the hand. Okay. So that's about myself. All right, guys. So yeah, this is my 55th batch, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to deliver 54 batches, and almost I delivered at 1,200 plus students. And yeah, thank you very much for the giving me an opportunity to learn something new. I'll try to keep the demo very simple, straight, crisp. So I want to give you a very brief understanding and a high level understanding of what is DevOps, why there is a huge buzz in the industry, and what are the tools that you are going to learn as a part of this training, and what is the duration of the training, what is cloud, how business was working before cloud, and what's their approach. Okay, so a lot of people, when I was talking with you guys, have asked me, Manu, if I just learn DevOps, will I get a job? If I just learn a cloud, will I get a job? If you want to learn a cloud, what is the best cloud that you need to learn? Okay, and what are the services we are going to learn? In DevOps, there are tremendous amount of tools which we need to learn. Okay, all these things I'm going to cover. And what is the prerequisite if you want to start with? That also I would like to start with. So before I start, I would like to ask you, what is cloud? Anyone? What is cloud and why we need cloud? Anyone can tell me? Anyone? Or what is DevOps? As per your understanding, what is DevOps? Anyone? What is
Development
DevOps?
plus operations.
So if it is a development plus operations, we heard the word just recently, right? Earlier, how things are working. Any
So
question?
Both are separate earlier.
Okay.
So once the concept of cloud has come to evolve, this DevOps has find its way. That is the simple understanding I am having.
Okay, all right. So let me try to explain you this way, guys. Okay, so let me try to bring this board. So guys, I started my career in 2011. Okay, so when I was working in 2011, I started my career in one of the service-based company. When I started my career there, after I started my job as a I started my career as a Linux engineer or Linux administrator in 2011. So who is majorly responsible for automating the day-to-day jobs of the Linux team. So technically, I was a part of the Linux engineering team. Now I joined the team and I'm working for one of the project, one of the very big project. And I heard the moment I joined the project, within 6 months itself, they said that we are closing the project. We are decommissioning the project. Decommissioning the project is nothing but they don't need the project anymore. So they scrapped the project, and the project was been in the development from last 4 years. That means there was a bank and the bank wants to digitalize the whole process, and they gave the requirement, and the consulting firm, which is nothing but the software development company, they started developing the project, and it took almost 3.5 4 years, and it still takes 4 years to develop the project. By the time itself, the requirement that was given in 2008 and the development that is going on and the requirement of the bank right now were completely changed. Okay, so because of that the project was scrapped. For the 4 years the client has invested millions of dollars, but since the requirement is being changed, they demanded to close the project. So here the client has lost the money. Agree? Here client has lost the money, and the reason why they lost the money is because of the software development lifecycle approach. So I'll go here. Before that, I want to talk to you some business. Okay, so what is this business? Let's talk about it. Why this cloud comes up into picture? Why cloud? Okay, why cloud and cloud business models? Okay, cloud business models. So can anyone tell me what is cloud? Anyone has a fair understanding? Anyone? What is cloud and why we need a cloud? Okay, so guys, the concept of cloud started evolving from 2006, 2007, and it was introduced by the company called as Amazon Web Services. I'll tell you why this cloud was evolved. So each and every company, in order to do the business, okay, in order to do the business, they should have some service, right? For example, applications are of two types. Okay, so web-based applications. Applications are of two types. One is client-based application and another is web-based application. Okay, so client-based application is nothing but an application which will work only when you install it on your computer. For example, Outlook. In your organization, you have to install Outlook on the top of your computer, right? To connect to the mailbox, right? That is one example of client-based application. This is something which I'm not interested about. Okay, so I am interested in about dealing with a web-based application. What is this web-based application? Okay, for example, I want to buy something in the internet. Flipkart.com. I have opened Flipkart.com. Now I want to buy something. I'll say login and I'll enter my details. Now I want to buy some iPhone 14 Pro. iPhone 14 Pro I want to buy, and I selected something and I checked the features. I'm interested in about 128 GB phone, and I checked which color I want, which memory I want, and then I say that I need to pay 100,000 rupees or 1,999 rupees, and I want to buy it. I'll do the payment transaction and I'll get a tracking number, and within 2 to 3 days, the delivery boy from Flipkart will give me the phone. This type of application, accessing the infrastructure, accessing the application from the matter, from the place from your browser is called as a web-based application. If you want to use this web-based application, obviously you need to have a computer, right? So for example, if you want to run an application, you need to have a server, right? Where these applications will be running. Technically, they will be running on the top of some computer. Okay. So computers again are of two types. A computer which will be used by one person and a computer which will be used by multiple people. Okay. I'm teaching the session. It is a computer which can be accessed by one person, right? That is called as a client-based machine, and a machine which is designed to be accessed by n number of people is called as a server. Server. Server is also nothing but a big computer, but with higher CPU and higher memory, or with higher resources, which we typically use it for installing or running your applications. So in order to run the web-based application, you need to have a server. Okay. And the server is hardware is from a lot of providers. Okay. And the place where you place your infrastructure is called as a data center. Okay. Data center is a place where we are going to host, or where we are going to place all the company's infrastructure. Flipkart will have thousands of servers. Google will have thousands of servers. Similar these servers. Okay. If you come here, Google data center, this is how the data center looks like. A data center is nothing but a place where the company is going to host all their infrastructure. Okay, when I say infrastructure, servers, network, all these things. Okay, this is how typically any company data center looks like. A well organized data center looks like. Okay, each and every company, you take Flipkart, Amazon, IRCTC, whatever the company, if you're accessing something from the internet, that application will run somewhere, right? So we are having some kind of places where we are going to host all the infrastructure, and such kind of private places are called as data center. And maintaining a data center involves a lot of money, effort, and investment. Okay, why? Okay, so let's talk about it. And again, this server earlier, conventionally, before this cloud and DevOps, how the business used to work is something I would like to convey, so that you can understand how the business is going to, how business is happening now. Okay, so I don't directly say that cloud is nothing but Amazon Web Services or Azure. I want to tell you the business first, and then we'll try to hit cloud and DevOps. Okay, so if you want to run your applications earlier, you need to have a data center. Data center is nothing but a place where you are going to host tremendous amount of servers. Okay, and it's a private place. And if you want to maintain a data center, it's there are some requirements that you need to follow, and the requirements are, let me talk about them. Data center requirements. Okay, so the data center requirements are very simple and straight. You should host a place, right? Host a place with security. So it's not a public place, right? Where anyone can go inside the data center and they can unplug the cables, right? No, definitely not. The moment someone plugs the cable or unplugs the cable, you'll encounter some outage or failure of your applications. So obviously it has to be private. And second thing, you need to host huge amount of servers. You need to buy huge servers. Based on the requirement, you need to buy the n number of servers, and it will be 10 to 1000. It can be any number of servers as per your business need. Okay, as per your business need, you're going to buy the servers. You need to buy a number of servers. Next, maintaining a data center. Okay, guys, if you observe during summer, the performance of your laptops or your computers are very bad, right? Because they emit a lot of heat. Any computing device, when you turn it on, it emits a lot of heat. Okay, for the better performance of your computer, you need to ensure that it is running with a good temperature. If the machine is running with high amount of heat, obviously the wear and tear of the hardware will be reduced predominantly. So as a part of that, you need to ensure data center temperature should be less than 19 degrees. Okay, so you need to ensure that the data center temperature is less than 90 degrees centigrade, which is again which involves a lot of power consumption. Okay, and I teach classes. For example, if I lose the network, for example, I'm connected to a network called as Spartans. For example, in case if I lose the Spartans network, I have another network called as TP-Link. Okay, why I maintain double network? Because to ensure if the network goes down, I want to ensure that I have a backup plan. Okay, that's the main idea behind that. Okay, I need to have a backup plan. For that, I have maintaining two networks. Similarly, each and every data center, which is nothing but a company, a place where you're hosting your infrastructure, also has a dual network. That means you need to pay two times. For example, if I'm paying 2,000 rupees per network, I need to pay 2,000 rupees network from different network providers, right? Two dual networks from different network providers. Okay, just to ensure if one of the network fails, I should have another network. Have you ever seen Google browser down? Have you ever seen YouTube down? Have you ever seen WhatsApp down? Because they ensure that they have the backup plan. Okay, so that's how you need to maintain the data center requirements. And another thing, so if I lose the power, okay, so I'm using government supplied power. In case if I encounter any power cuts or power outage in my area, I have an inverter which gives me a backup. That means you guys don't feel that I'm encountering the internet outage. So network outage, similarly power outage, dual power. Okay. Another thing, another important thing is you need to have a network. Okay. You need to configure the network and storage and hardware team. You need to hire them. If you're just very small company, can you afford buying a place? And another important thing is it's a capital intensive thing. Okay, which means based on the number of servers that you're buying, based on the amount of the CPU and memory that you're buying, the amount that you are going to invest is going to be very huge. For example, you want 100 servers and each server costs 100,000, 1 lakh. And if you want to buy 100 servers, you need to straight away invest 1 crore rupees to invest in the hardware. Okay, so maintaining all these things is going to be very costly affair. And do you think that startups can afford this much? So if you observe, guys, from 2010, 2010, 2011, 12, the number of companies in the software industry have increased predominantly, right? Earlier, if someone wants to start a company, it used to be a very capital intensive thing, but this capital intensive thing of investing hardware, investing power, investing on network, everything is predominantly reduced. The reason for it is cloud. I'll tell you why cloud. And before that, I also want to tell you one more thing called as hardware refresh. Okay, what is this hardware refresh? So guys, you bought a iPhone, for example, iPhone right now, they're using iPhone 14 Pro. Now iPhone, if they release 15th version, iPhone 15, they'll say that we are stopping this. We are going to ensure we are going to make iPhone 10 as out of support from 2024 August. What exactly that meant? Anyone can tell me the statement? Anyone? 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 If someone says out of support, hardware is out of support. Anyone? Anyone would like to answer it? What is hardware out of support? Yeah,
No more
Shanmugam.
updates. Yes, no more updates, no more patches like thing.
Exactly. If there is no support for software, that means they are not going to release software updates or patches. For example, if you're using Windows 7, okay, you don't get any updates from the Microsoft, right? Why? Because they have stopped supporting the product. For example, if you're using iPhone 6 or iPhone 7, they'll mention there are no updates for it. And second time, there also tells that there won't be any support for the hardware, which means if you lose your touch button or if you lose your lock button or if you damage your screen, if you go to the iPhone repair center and if you tell them that I want this to be replaced, they say, sorry, sir, iPhone 7, we are stopping out. We stopped the support. So the only option that you have is you need to buy iPhone 10 because we are not going to support the product anymore. Which also means every server, every hardware you buy will have a lifetime. Okay, which means they'll support the product for 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. So in our hardware space, if you lose the motherboard, or if the disk of that motherboard is lost, or if any of the components of the hardware, particular hardware, if you lose that, you don't get the hardware, gone. And that's the reason if you're buying the hardware from HP or Cisco, these are the hardware providers, very famous hardware providers, HP, Cisco. These are the companies, and IBM, these are the companies which sells hardwares, just like your Hero Honda bike, TVS bike, Yamaha bike. In the bike space, they are the companies. In the server space, HP, Cisco, or IBM are the companies which sells the hardware. Which also means when you buy hardware in 2023, July 9th, that may or may not be available lifetime. It will never be lifetime. For example, you bought the hardware today, they'll tell you we are going to support the product for the next 8 years or 7 years. After 8 years or after 7 years, the moment they say, okay, they'll tell you notice this hardware is going to be out of support from this particular month. You know what you have to do? You need to buy this new hardware. Okay, and you need to replace the hardware with the existing hardware. That means you need to scrap this hardware and you need to buy the new hardware, which is going to be a very capital intensive thing. If you are having 100 servers, you need to replace 100 servers, which is going to be a very capital intensive thing. And lot of companies, you might think that they are moving to cloud or they are migrating to cloud, and this is one of the reason why they want to go with cloud. Okay, why? If they have to upgrade or if they want to buy new hardware, why they are going to cloud? Because each and every company has to invest millions of dollars for the hardware refresh. Earlier there is no the concept of cloud. Now Amazon in 2007 they have introduced the concept called as cloud. So cloud is nothing but, okay, cloud, it's a business model, okay, where you can use other service, use other service, and pay as you go. Cloud is the concept which introduced with the concept of pay as you go. That means if you want 100 servers, you pay for 100 servers. If you want 100 servers, you want 150 servers, you pay for 150 servers. For example, there is a company, okay, called as Flipkart.com, and they want 150 servers during the regular business. Okay, the same company during Christmas, they'll run a lot of sale, and during Christmas they expect 1000 servers, and during Christmas is nothing but only during the December last week they need 1000 servers. So just to run the sale of Christmas, do you think just to run the business for 1 week, do you think that buying 1000 servers is that makes sense? Definitely no. So only just whenever during the need basis, during the Christmas sale or Pongal sale or Diwali sale or the August 15th sale or Independence sale, they need a huge amount of servers, and rest of the times they just need 20% of the servers, like 2000 servers. Do you really think that buying these many servers just to run during that time makes sense? Earlier, you don't have any option. Now, at the time, you need to buy these many servers and you need to power them on need basis. Now, days are gone. So Amazon has introduced a concept called as cloud, and the concept of cloud was majorly introduced by them at enterprise. Okay, so when Amazon has started in their e-commerce business in 2004-5, keeping the future demands in mind. Okay, keeping the future demands in mind, Amazon cloud, Amazon data center. Okay, so keeping the future demands in mind, they have bought huge amount of hardware. So they know that they are going to expand a lot, and keeping the future demands in mind, they bought huge amount of hardware. By investing millions of dollars, they invested huge amount of servers. Okay, they invested on huge amount of servers. Okay, let me copy paste it. They invested on huge amount of servers and they bought these many servers, keeping the future demands in mind. Each and every company keeping the future demands in mind. So they'll invest, right? They'll invest a lot. keeping the future demands in mind, they invested. Okay, they invested thousands of servers, not even in hundreds. They invested millions of dollars to run the business, keeping the future demands in mind. Now, out of these many servers, their expectation went wrong and they end up only consuming these many servers, and rest of them were left idle. Left of them were left idle. Now they felt that we invested a lot, we are making money, but 90% of your hardware that we have invested was idle, and we are not using anything out of it, and we are wasting money in the data center. And that's where one person has given an idea of why can't we rent our servers to someone else who is in need. And that's where the concept of infrastructure as a service, which is nothing but cloud, came up into picture. So I'll give you two examples. This is one of the most common example I would like to give. You're working, you got a job in Bangalore. You graduated from college and you got a job in one of the consulting firm in Bangalore, and you want to move from Hyderabad to Bangalore. Okay, and you're going to stay there for next 2 years or 3 years as a part of your job. Now you go to Bangalore, and your father is rich, and he invested 75 lakhs to buy a flat in an apartment, and you bought that flat, and you're staying in that flat, and you're going to office. That is one option. And second option, you can look for the same apartment, okay, and look for flats in that apartment. Who is going to say uh, who is going to rent you out? That means rather than you buying the apartment, you can tell them, I want to buy the apartment, I want to stay in the apartment for the next 1 year or 2 years. They're going to rent it for you, right? That means rather than you buying the flat, you can pay them rent monthly basis, which is nothing but pay as you go. You can go to office, and whenever you're going out or whenever you're leaving Bangalore, you can tell your owner that I want to leave the flat, and you can give them notice and you can leave it. Right? And the second option is nothing but the cloud model, pay as you go model. Rather than you investing, okay, what you can do is the cloud provider, or nothing but here in our case, Amazon Web Services. Okay, so Amazon is the one which has introduced the concept of enterprise cloud, Amazon Web Services. Okay, so you tell how many servers you want, we'll offer you. Okay, for example, I'll go to Amazon and say that I want 3 servers of each server having 100 CPU and 128 gigs of RAM. You say that I want I want these many servers. Just tell them that they'll give you servers and you can run your business. For example, this is customer A. Okay, customer A need 3 servers, and customer C. Okay, I'm a startup. I just need 2 servers. Okay, so this is customer B. This is customer B. Likewise, as per the organization policies, okay, they're going to, as per their organization policies and as per the business, they're going to buy these many servers. For example, I'm a startup. I'm running a startup. I'm a college student. I got an idea. Okay, now I don't have to run behind anyone who is ready to invest on my company. The moment I get a thought, I can start the business because I don't have to invest in anything upfront. Now here it goes, pay as you go, which means pay the amount of time that you invested. For example, right now I'm running 3 servers. I'm going to pay 3 servers. For example, I want to run on 4 servers tomorrow. I can run. I'll just request I want one more server. I'll run. So I'm going to pay on monthly basis. Okay. And cloud is something which was introduced. Okay. Pay as you go model. That means you're going to pay based on how much amount of resources you're using. Okay. So Amazon Web Services. Okay. So you don't have to say them, I'm going to use these many servers, I'm going to pay you. No, you don't have to give any upfront. They can go with pay as you go. Okay, and the cloud business, if you're talking about cloud business, you need to also know 3 terminologies: cloud business models. Okay, so this is one of the most commonly asked interview questions. What all services, PaaS services that you're aware? What are the SaaS services you're aware? So this is another important question that they'll ask you in interview. And when you're starting your career in cloud, okay, so this is very important. And in the cloud providers, okay, in the cloud providers, the majority of the cloud providers are, okay, Amazon Web Services, AWS, which is nothing but Amazon Web Services. And next is Google Cloud. These 3 are the 3 players in the industry, okay, and Azure Cloud. Azure is from Microsoft. Okay, so in the market, 75% of the industry. Okay, since Amazon is something which was started in 2004-5, and they have been in the industry from 2012-13, monopoly. There is no business which is competitive, or none of the business were in this field of cloud. Okay, so Google is there where they are offering storage as a cloud, but in the enterprise space, Google Cloud, 75% of the market space is on. That means 100 out of 75 customers are on Google Cloud. Okay, obviously the amount of jobs, the number of jobs on Google Cloud are also less, are also high. Okay, so in Google Cloud, 75% of the customer base is AWS. So obviously AWS has huge market space, and that's the reason we also talk about Amazon Cloud more. And Azure Cloud and Google Cloud are also good, but when compared to AWS, the number of services that they are offered on AWS Cloud are relatively less, and customer base is also less than 25%. So, but the major player is Amazon Cloud. Another important thing, if you learn AWS Cloud, working on Google Cloud or Azure Cloud is not a big deal, because the only difference that you see is the name of the services. What is a service? We'll talk about it. Okay. If you learn one cloud, working on other cloud is not a big deal. And there is a big misconception in the industry. If you want to get a cloud and DevOps job, you need to learn all the 3 clouds. You need to learn all the 2 clouds. No. If you want to gain mastery, or if you want to learn something, just learn that particular something and gain mastery on it. And working on the alternative services is never going to be a big deal. Okay, conceptually, business remains the same. Again, in this cloud business, okay, cloud business is offered in 3 ways. Okay, cloud business models. Okay, so cloud business model is infrastructure as a service, infrastructure as a service, infrastructure as service. Okay, these are very, very important things. Okay, you go to any interview, they'll ask you, okay, what all IaaS services you have worked, and what all PaaS you have worked, and why you use PaaS and why you use SaaS. SaaS, software as a service. Now, so Manu, in AWS falls under which category? So we'll talk about that as well. Okay, so infrastructure as a service, it's also referred as IaaS. Platform as a service, it's also referred as PaaS. And software as a service, it's also referred as a SaaS. So before I proceed further, anyone have any questions? If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Yeah, Rohit, I'll take up your question. Yeah, go ahead. And just a request, guys. I request every one of you to just hold your questions for the next 15 to 30 minutes, because whatever the questions that you are going to ask, I'm going to address them in the next 40-45 minutes.
So,
at least for, yes, you are. At least for today, I would like to ensure that I would like to deliver the 45 to 1 hour of the session, and I would like to take up your questions. Okay. If you have any questions, meanwhile, you can post it in the chat window. Okay. Yeah, Rohit, go ahead.
So, my question is, you're telling like a network, when you're talking about the network, you're showing the internet, right? The Spartans and the other one, your dual network when you're talking about. So, what's the difference between network and the internet?
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Okay. I'll address that question, Rohit.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
Yeah. So, yeah. Internet, intranet, network. Okay. All these things we'll discuss. So, let's talk about the cloud business model. What is infrastructure as a service? What is PaaS, platform as a service? What is SaaS, software as a service? Okay. Based on the ownership that you own. Okay. Based on the ownership. Okay. Based on the ownership. So guys, I'll give you one very classic example. In 2012, 13, 14, okay, when I want to play, I used to play the army or war games a lot. At the time, if I want to play any sort of war games, I also want to have my team formed. That means my team, my friends, okay, what they used to do is, I used to buy a console, and all of them, they used to connect to the same network where my console is there. And we all used to play on the same monitor, player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, player 5. All of them are are connected to the same network and playing together. Here I need to buy a TV, monitor, I need to buy console, I need to buy a joystick, right? Now, if you want to play any such war games, do you really think that you need to buy a console? Do you really think that you need to buy a monitor? Definitely no. PUBG, one of the most famous game, right? You can play it from the matter of your browser or your application on your mobile. Why there is no need of compute? Why there is no need of resources? Let's talk about all of them. Okay, based on the ownership that you have take, okay, there are types of services that are offered. So let me try to show you a nice image. PaaS versus IaaS versus SaaS. Let's take some nice image from the internet. Copy the image and put it here. So this is what the image that tries to show you the difference between on-prem. On-prem, what is on-prem? On-prem is nothing but data center. Data center. So for example, if someone says that we are running our applications on-prem, that means they are running their applications on the servers which are hosted on their data centers. That is called as on-prem. It's owned by you. So here your network, okay. Let me take a nice image. It represents 1 minute. Because it represents Microsoft Azure, I do not want to misrepresent it. All right. Okay, so here in the on-prem, okay, when you say on-prem, which is nothing but your data center, if you're managing your own data center, you need to maintain, and you're responsible for the hardware, you're responsible for the storage, you're responsible for the infrastructure you buy, and you're responsible for something called as virtualization. You're responsible for the operating system, which is also nothing but maintaining an operating system is like whenever there is any software update comes in the community, we call it as operating system patches, you are responsible for that. Whatever the applications that you want to run, you are responsible for that. And runtime, which is nothing but application, and the data of the application, you are responsible for it. And applications that you're running, whatever the applications you run, whether it can be Facebook, Amazon, whatsoever the application that you run on the top of the server, you are responsible for that. If you're running your applications on the top of your own hardware, you are responsible for everything. And that's the reason they're selling, you manage it. Okay. But if you go with infrastructure as a service is nothing but I want to run my applications. I want hardware, which is nothing but I want servers. I want servers. If you want servers, there are two options. Either you need to buy the hardware and keep it in your data center and run your applications on the top of it. Or I have given you an example, right? If you want to stay in Bangalore, there are two options. One option is buy your own flat. That is one option. Or pay as you go. That means you can tell someone or the owner, landlord, telling that I want to own your flat. Can you give me rent for 1 year? And they'll pay you the rent based on the monthly basis. Okay. So here, infrastructure as a service falls under the category of pay as you go model, which means whatever the server that you want, whatever the servers, that can be Windows based server or Linux based server or Mac based server, whatever the server you want, the cloud provider provides you. That means the cloud provider will give you the hardware. Directly they'll give you the server. You tell them that I want a server. Okay, all you need to do is you need to tell I need to have a server. They'll give you one server. And you can tell them that I want to have a server with 8 GB RAM and 4 processor and 128 GB of storage. Okay, you place a request, Amazon gives you a server, and you're going to create your applications and run your applications and maintain your applications on the top of it, and you are responsible for it. For example, you are running an application called as Tomcat. What is a Tomcat? We'll talk about it, but for now, it's just an application. Okay, so you want to run an application on the top of it. This is the application. Why we create servers, by the way? To run application. To run application, you need to have a server. okay, with an operating system installed. So here in the infrastructure as a service model, the cloud provider takes care of the underlying hardware. They are responsible for giving you the network, storage, compute, CPU, everything. You are just responsible for your application and the underlying data, and you're responsible for the availability of your application as well. And that service falls under the category of infrastructure as a service. Okay. And if you're having a good cloud team, and if you have a team with good infrastructure knowledge, going with infrastructure as a service makes sense. Okay. Here, your team is responsible for a lot of things apart from the hardware. Okay. Done. You don't have, okay, you don't have, you want to run a nice database, and you don't have a database admin team, and you want Amazon to give you database. At that time, you can go with platform as a service. So platform as a service is nothing but whatever the software you want. For example, the same Tomcat application, the same Tomcat application, if you want to run, what you have to do, you need to create a server, and then you need to install Tomcat on the top of it. Okay, so you need to run Tomcat on the top of it. And on the top of the Tomcat, you're going to run your applications, right? For example, yours is an e-commerce application, and you want to run some user registration application on the top of it. Okay, you have to run user registration application on the top of it. Now, in the infrastructure as a service, you are responsible for everything, including the user registration application, right? But if it is a platform as a service, Amazon gives you direct Tomcat application. All you need to do is just run your application. You don't have to responsible about network, storage, infrastructure, application runtime. No, here runtime is your, okay, your needed application Tomcat. You don't have to worry about anything. You just need to tell Amazon, I want to run a Tomcat application. It asks you, okay, give me the software, I'll run it. That's it. Amazon takes care of the hardware, network, application, everything. All you're supposed to take care is just run your application, and you're responsible for the data. You don't have to worry about the hardware. You don't have to worry about the software updates or the software patches of your server. You don't have to worry about anything. All you need to do is you just need to run your application. Okay, when you don't have the cloud team or infrastructure team, when your business is completely based out of development, okay, and if you're having huge amount of developers rather than infrastructure, then platform as a service makes sense. But when compared to the infrastructure as a service, platform as a service is little costly. Okay, this is one thing I want to tell. All right, these type of applications are called as platform as a service. Amazon offers both infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. And what is this software as a service? So software as a service is like, guys, if you want to have a software, for example, if you want to run any sort of software, let's say Zoom, Outlook. Okay, so if you remember, guys, earlier, when you join any company, on the top of your computer, you will have MS Office installed. Why you use MS Office? Anyone would like to answer that? Why MS Office? Because you want to run your Word, Excel. Yeah, Shanmugam, go ahead.
Basic applications, that is a Word, Excel sheet, a presentation like this, all the basic things will be covered in this MS Office.
So in organizations, if you want to use MS Office, that includes Outlook, okay, what you do, you need to install the software on your computer, right? Agree? Now you made some nice presentation and you want to present it to your company. Okay, now on the top of your computer, they have installed MS Office software on the top of your computer. Done. Good, great. And in order to run the MS Office that also includes Outlook, you need to have an admin team, right? Okay, for example, let's consider this use case. You're traveling in metro and you lost your computer. Now, what will happen to all the presentations that are running on your that are saved on your computer? You lose everything, right? Agree? So Microsoft, again, the same MS Office they have created in the form of SaaS model. It's called as Office 365. What is this Office 365 is? What they tell is we create a server and we have deployed the service, or we have deployed or installed the service on the top of it. Okay. MS Office, they are going to install it on the top of their server. Okay, and they'll create an account for you. Create an account. Okay, for you. When I say for you, it's for everyone in your company. All you need to do is you just need to access it. Okay, if you want, all you need to do is from your computer. This is your computer on your car. Okay, they'll give you access from your browser. You can access the applications now. Okay, now here, rather than installing MS Office on your computer, they have created it and installed it on the top of their cloud. All you do is from your computer, from your browser, you are going to connect to this account and you're going to save, write your spreadsheets, open your spreadsheets. Okay, open your spreadsheet, open your Word doc, open your Excel presentation. From your computer, you'll connect to your account and here you're going to make it. So whatever the data you saving, okay, whatever the software that you are installed on their computer earlier, the same software Microsoft Office is offering you as a service. So earlier it is a infrastructure as a service, and after that platform as a service, and another thing is software as a service. Okay, that means they are offering you software as a service rather than you buying the license and installing on your computer. Okay, so you're traveling on metro now and you lost your computer. Again, it's very simple. Your company will give you one more computer. You'll get your data back. Okay, so you don't have to host your local office team, local Outlook and all. You can directly consume the software. And that's the reason almost all the business models, for example, any company which is in the software business, they're selling the software in the form of SaaS, software as a service. And that's the reason lot of companies, you take any software. Okay, there are two types of softwares that will be available, whether you can install it on your data center or you can even directly consume that particular service from my company directly. Okay, a classic example of it is Microsoft Office, where they are offering Office 365. Okay, the only difference between all of them are cloud services only, but based on the ownership that you avail. Okay, so in the software as a service, you don't have to worry about application, data, runtime, infrastructure, nothing. All you need to worry about is whatever the software you want, whether you're getting it or not. That's the only thing that you need to worry. Now I'll ask you one question. Among all these type of services, which one as per your expectation will be costly? Anyone would like to answer that?
The
Anyone?
software.
Software as a service.
Software of the service.
Exactly. Why?
It covers
More
everything.
Exactly. Because the
Or
ownership.
provided by the vendor
Yes.
itself.
Yes, because the ownership is more from the provider, and that's the reason they charge you more. Okay, and the reason why they hire you as a cloud engineer is so to ensure you take more ownership, and that ensures that you spend less billing to the company. Now, why huge amount of jobs are in the cloud space? Why huge jobs are there? Cloud. And the reason for it is, okay, the same ownership. Okay, for example, if this is your company's data center, this is your company's data center, how many teams are involved? Let's talk about it conventionally. Okay, so for example, if this is your data center, okay, how many teams are involved? First, it all starts with hardware. Sorry. Let's talk about this. This is your data center. For example, I would like to show you how many teams are involved, all these things. This is your data center. And obviously data center is nothing but a place where you are going to host all your servers, right? And not just servers, your networking components, everything will be there. Your servers, first it all starts with servers, right? Let's write about the servers. Okay. Lot of people directly, I saw a lot of people who are coming from college or who are working in different domains, they are directly learning cloud. What is cloud means? They're telling AWS, Amazon Web Services. No, that's not true. We need to understand the business. Let's talk about these things in detail. Okay. So when you talk about any data center, it will have servers. It will have storage. It will have storage. Again, storage is also a type of uh, a server with a huge amount of disks that are attached. Storage to store your company's data. And all right. And you also have network. Okay. Obviously, if you want to have a secure infrastructure, the very first thing that you need to have is you need to have your own network, right? You join a company, for example, you join a company called as IBM. You want to apply leave. That leaves application is accessible only when you connect it to the office network, right? Okay. But the same application, when you try to access it from the home network, it will not work because you have a networking devices. Okay. So this is one team. And once you have all of them, the main purpose of having servers, storage, network, everything is because you need to run your applications. So definitely you have something called as application. Applications. I'll tell you why huge amount of jobs are there in this space. You should have a reason. Okay. So you should have a reason. And that's the reason I'm trying to explain you. Is it true or not? Okay. If there are these many jobs, from where these jobs are coming, you should know this first. Okay. And to monitor all your applications, you should also have a separate team, monitoring team. Okay. So each and every company, okay, you have something called as a NOC team or a monitoring team. Okay. NOC, Network Operations Center. Okay, why NOC team? Okay, so NOC team is like, okay, a operation center. So NOC team is okay. This is how each and every company, they'll have a separate team. For example, these many dashboards will be there and these many people are looking at these many dashboards. Okay, so they want to see what is happening in your business, how many payments are happening, how many new users are joining. Okay, if this is a company with NOC, okay, they are responsible for monitoring and looking into things what are happening. Each and every company will have a NOC team where operations are responsible for monitoring it. Okay, so usually ops team are responsible for it. Okay, so NOC team. So the main purpose of NOC team is for performing operations. Okay, they are responsible for operations. Done. Now applications. So in order to manage the applications, you should have a team called as middleware team or the application support team. Okay, you need to have a support team or an application team. Done. Now next, to manage storage. Okay, you need Linux is a very famous command line operating system. So if you want to start all of this cloud, DevOps, all of these things, the fundamental prerequisite is Linux, which we are going to cover as well. So Linux, you need to have a platform team or a Linux admin team. Okay, to maintain storage, you need to have a storage team. Okay, you need to have a storage team. And to maintain the network, you should have a network team. Now, do you need to know networking? Definitely not needed. We'll cover what is needed. And for data center, we'll have data center operations team. Now, with the concept of cloud, you don't have to host a data center. You don't have to buy the servers. You don't have to buy the storage. You don't have to buy the networking devices, and you don't have to host the big operations console or monitors or a space to monitor your applications. And you don't have to hire these many middleware engineers as well. Why? Because all of them are going to be handled by a single team called as cloud DevOps engineers, and which is nothing but you guys. Once you complete the training, you guys fall under the category of cloud and DevOps team. Now if you want to, okay, data center operations are completely managed by, okay, since there is no concept of data center, and all the infrastructure activities handled by the cloud and DevOps team. And Linux is also managed, all the servers are managed by the cloud and DevOps team. Okay, and storage, you don't have to entertain a separate team to manage your host software hard storage, because again it will be handled by your cloud and DevOps team. And middleware, just to maintain the applications, you don't have to hire a separate team, because that also will be managed by the cloud and DevOps team. And operations, you don't have to hire a separate ops engineer to monitor, just monitor. We can also automate these things, and that's the reason these many teams are being scrapped off, and they are evolving in the form of cloud and DevOps team. And a lot of people who approach me in the training, they say that, sir, I'm working in the platform team, my company is moving to cloud, so I think I'll be jobless, and that's the reason I want to migrate to the cloud. And few of the team will also say that I'm working as a database admin team. My infrastructure or my company is moving to cloud, so I have to upskill. And that's exactly the reason why there are huge amount of jobs are there. All of the conventional jobs are replaced by the cloud and DevOps. Okay, the cloud and DevOps team are replacing all of these things, and that's the reason you could see huge amount of jobs. Okay, this is one of the reason. Now I got clarity what is cloud, then how cloud and DevOps teams are related to each other. Till 2018-19, guys, okay, cloud jobs are separate and DevOps jobs are separate. Okay, everything used to be done from the user UI. Now things are changed. Okay, so the cloud engineer is expected to know DevOps, and the DevOps engineer is expected to cloud, and that's the reason you take any job description, they say we are looking for a cloud engineer with DevOps skill set. They might not say DevOps, but they'll say we are looking for someone with AWS cloud skill set with Kubernetes, Terraform, Jenkins, CI/CD. Technically is nothing but cloud DevOps job only. Okay, if you just learn AWS cloud, it's you won't get a job. If you just learn DevOps without cloud, you don't get a job. And keeping the job aspect and real-time requirement in mind, we designed this entire course. Okay, we designed this entire course. So I'll ask you one question. What exactly is DevOps? Now, can anyone tell me what exactly is DevOps? What is DevOps?
It is end-to-end process in the software development.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the operation that we have to take from development to till the production.
Okay, that's nice. Anyone else? But anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone? And why we need DevOps? Let's talk about it. So it all starts with something called a software development life cycle. What is this SDLC? So guys, if you want to construct a house, what you do? First, you will select a plot, you buy the plot, and if there is some scrap in that, like if the floor is not even, you'll clear the scrap, you level the plot, and then the civil engineer or the engineer comes up and he'll check. He'll ask you, okay, sir, what is your expectation? How many floors you are planning to construct? And you're planning to have a cellar at your bottom of your house, or what is the what is the expectation you'd have? Right? And now the owner of this plot will say that I have 2 crores is my budget. I'm looking for 5 floors, and 2 floors me and my family would like to stay, and 3 floors we would like to give it for tenants, and ground floor we want to make it as a cellar for the tenants parking. Now, keeping that requirement in mind, the civil engineer will design the plan and give you, right? That means here the steps are involved, right? Clearing the plot, understanding the plan, designing the plan, investing the money, and letting the construction of the house. And once construction of the house is completed, paint the house and enter the house and start adopting the house, right? Similarly, in the software development also, there is a phase. Okay, if you want to develop any software, you need to develop some method. Okay, there are a lot of software development methods. Method is nothing but a strategy that you follow to develop a software. And one of the most famous strategy in the software development cycle If you are coming from the computer science background or from the software background, you would have heard this waterfall model. Waterfall is a model or a methodology which says how the software has to be developed. Okay, this is one of the most famous. If you take any of the software till 2014, it is developed by using the software development lifecycle methodology called as waterfall. What is waterfall methodology? In the waterfall methodology, the first requirement is customer needs to demonstrate the requirement to the consulting firm, software development company. Now the software company will take all the requirement, the entire requirement. And once the requirement is taken, now the software architects in the company or the lead architects in the company will try to understand the requirement and they'll try to design the whole infrastructure. Okay, they'll be software architects will work with the technical documentation team. They'll understand the requirement. They'll try to design it. This is step one. And once step one is completed, they'll try to design the documents and they'll start implementing the documentation. And once the design is done, now they'll deliver. They'll cut the entire work into small pieces and they'll assign it to software developers like Java developers. Okay, networking software developers, Java developer, Python developer, and they'll start developing the application. And for example, if the requirement analysis takes 3 months of time, and if the software design takes 9 months of time, and if the development of software, if it has taken 12 months of time, now after 2 years, okay, during the implementation, if for example, if the project is bank, now bank says that, hey, I want to add some feature. I want to remove the feature. I want to change that feature. I want to add that feature. No, it's not possible. In the software development lifecycle model using waterfall model, once the requirement analysis is completed and once the design is started, you cannot add the new requirement. Okay, and that's the reason earlier, okay, the software development and the project delivery used to take 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 9 years. I even saw the project which is in development from 9 years. That means client to see the initial version of the project used to take 4 years, 3 years. A lot of time it used to take, right? Because they adopted the model called as waterfall model. In the waterfall model, it's very simple. You take a glass of water and you pour the water, it goes down, it will never come back, right? The same strategy. Once the requirement analysis, once you go to the next phase, you can never ever go back. Okay, after 2 years, if the requirement that is given by the particular bank, if the requirement is changed, all you need to do is you need to scrap the entire model. That's it, done. Money is gone. And this type of model is called as software development lifecycle is called as waterfall model. I don't say it is a flop model. It is a hit model, but 90% of the times the requirements used to be changed and the development used to be scrapped. And again, they used to start the whole thing. Now, from last 5 years, okay, in 2013-14, there are a group of frustrated software engineers who were very much annoyed with the whole process. What they did, they want to develop, they want to redesign the whole process, and they came up with a process called as agile development. Okay, so these guys came up with a concept called as agile development, agile methodology. And as per agile methodology, okay, so these guys, the group of frustrated engineers, they released a white paper telling that rather than me developing the whole software together in a shot and trying to deliver the customer it together in a single time frame, rather than that, we want to we want to take a small feature of that entire application, we want to develop that and we want to design it, we want to deliver it to the customer in 2 weeks. If the customer likes, they'll try to add one more feature. For example, you take WhatsApp. What is the first feature in WhatsApp, guys? Anyone? What is the first feature? What is the main feature of WhatsApp? Anyone?
Only send and receive message.
Exactly. Texting, text messaging, right? And after that,
Yes.
after they released it to the public, okay, WhatsApp team, they developed the application, they shown it to the product owner or the or their owners, and then they release the feature, they like the feature, and they want to add one more feature. They introduce the concept of group texting. Agree? Earlier, the group size is 32. Now they increased it to 256. That is one feature. Now, next, what they introduced, they added voice call feature. Agree? And then what they introduced? Video call. And then what they introduced? Payments.
Status.
Right? And then, yeah. Good thing. Status. Status earlier, it used to be only image. Now they, in both the versions, they have introduced audio message, audio status, video status, text status. Right? So in this, since they are adopting the agile methodology, rather than they developing the single product together in a shot, they are developing it piece by piece, piece by piece, piece by piece. If they develop one feature and if the customer didn't like it, they rework it. Okay, if the customer like it, release the feature to the public and add one more feature. And this type of development is called as agile methodology. Okay, in agile methodology, so we take one particular feature and we pledge to complete the feature in particular time frame, and that particular time frame is called as a sprint. Sprint is nothing but 2 weeks or 3 weeks of time period is called as a sprint. Okay, so as per the sprint, first they'll plan what they want to do and they'll design that particular feature and they'll develop the software and build the software and they'll deploy it and they'll test it in the testing project and then they'll release it to the public. That's it. You take one more feature, you do it one more time. You take one more feature, you do one more time. All your cloud and DevOps jobs, majority of the times, go with this agile methodology, and agile methodology completely depends on the constructive feedback loop. Constructive feedback loop is nothing but, okay, this feature is looking good, I want to work on it. This feature is not looking good, I want to work on it. This feature development is not done well by the developers. The feedback will be given to the developers and the developers have to accept it, and the developers have to develop the code more efficiently in the upcoming sprint. That is called as constructive feedback loop. Rather than developing the whole product for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years and taking feedback at the end, we take a small feature, we develop it, we demonstrate it, we'll take the feedback, we'll go on. Okay, that is the agile methodology fundamental philosophy. And in the agile methodology, there is no concept of team lead. And if you see, you will see that role called as a tech lead, not team lead. In agile methodology, everyone is responsible for everything. Okay, so earlier if something doesn't work, okay, so it goes to the platform team and then admin team, and the admin team, you say that no issue from my end, go to the application team. Application team will say that, hey, no issue from my end, go to that particular team. Now, if some issue happens, the blame game used to happen. I am not responsible. I am not responsible. You are responsible. So here things are completely isolated and everyone don't want to own anything. In agile, you take in any agile, the size of the team is less than 8. Okay, and all the 8 members are responsible for everything. Okay, and here there is no concept of blame game. You win as a team, you lose as a team, everyone is responsible for everything. And that's the fundamental principle of agile methodology. All right, now I'll ask you another question. From where this DevOps comes from? I got it, I got all this, but where this DevOps comes from? Anyone? I got this. From where DevOps comes from and what is DevOps? Anyone? So guys, exactly.
Development and operations team take together.
Okay.
So that they could work together to develop an application and then deploy.
Exactly. So earlier, the development team is a separate team, right? Even now, it's a separate team. Now, another lot of misconception people have is development means DevOps means a development plus operations. That is 100% true. You are not going to do the development and you are not going to do the coding. You are not. Okay. And earlier, development used to be done by someone. That's even now it's true. And operations used to be done by separate team. That means operations is nothing but whatever the software that is being developed by the development team, they will tell the operations to deploy the right. Now, these operations don't know what these guys have done and how they want us to deploy. They'll give you some procedure to deploy the application and you're going to deploy that and it won't work. And you'll come back to them and tell that, hey, it won't work. So here the blame game used to happen and the time used to take a lot. Okay, now as both of them working as silos, they don't know what each the other person is doing. Now in the DevOps, what's going to happen is the operations team, okay, or the DevOps team will work very closely with the development team from the beginning of the project. Okay, they understand what these guys are doing from the beginning of the show, how they're developing, how they want to deploy, or how they want to test, or how they want to do this. They want to ensure the DevOps team ensures how the development is happening, how they want to deploy into the production environment, and what is the strategy that you have to take to ensure that developer life is highly productive. Okay, now earlier the operations team never know how they want me to develop, what they want me to develop. If an issue comes up, what I need to do. There is no clarity because everyone is working like a silo. But the conventional operations team has been cut down and evolved as a separate team called as a DevOps team. And these guys will work very closely with the development team. They'll understand what is going on from the beginning and till the end how they want to develop. And they also ensures how the deployment has to happen. And these guys ensures all the development of software and release of the software happens automatically rather than doing it manually. Earlier, if you observe, Windows used to release the updates, software updates for every 6 months, once in a year, right? Now Microsoft Windows, they release updates for every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. How come they're able to make software such a quickly? Because they have a DevOps team and they're adopting the agile methodology. Okay, the main job of the responsibility of a DevOps engineer is you don't have to develop anything. That is a developer's job. All you do is whatever the code that is being developed by the developers, you are responsible for taking that code to multiple environments. Okay, so production environment is nothing but an environment which is the customer facing environment, and you are responsible for taking the code from lower environment to the higher environment without any downtime. Okay, so a lot of companies, okay, will give you a commitment called as uptime.is. Okay, let me show you what is uptime.is. If you're buying any software from any company, they'll tell you the availability of my product is 99.9% up. That means in a month, they'll promise you a maximum of 43 minutes of downtime. If someone says my product is 99.99% available, that means the software can be a maximum of unavailable, or it can be a maximum downtime that they can promise is 4 minutes. So in order to ensure that you have 99.9% availability, 99.999% of availability, you need to have a proper DevOps team. Okay, because more availability, more money, and more reputation. Okay, so the main role of the DevOps engineer is they are responsible for taking the code from the lower environment to the higher environment, and you are responsible for ensuring there won't be any downtime involved, and you're responsible for ensuring there won't be any downtime involved. Okay, so without any downtime, how can you ensure you deploy the software into the production environment? Okay, across all the environments. Now you might think there are separate roles that are coming up, Manu, DevOps and site reliability engineer, where this SRE comes up. If you are working for a very big organization, the roles are diversified. Okay, and that's the reason they introduced another role called a site reliability engineer. The main role of the site reliability engineer is whatever the DevOps guy does, even the site reliability engineer does the same, but he handles more at observability layer along with production. Okay, so the DevOps team will do the deployments only till non-prod, not the customer facing servers. If the DevOps wants to do any sort of deployments on production environment, another team comes up into picture called as SRE team, where they are responsible for ensuring your production environment or the customer facing servers are live all the time, and they are the one who has to give you the sign off. Okay, these guys ensures no downtime is involved on the production servers or the live servers. Okay, but these guys are majorly focusing on production and observability, like creating the dashboards, okay, and ensuring that your system is having less latency. And these guys are responsible for creating nice dashboards, monitoring all these things. And in this training, are we going to cover site reliability engineering, observability as well? Yes, we are going to cover as well. Post the completion of the training, you can also apply for DevOps, SRE, or cloud. Any 3 jobs you can apply. Okay, and are we going to learn everything on the top of projects? Yes. From the day 5 itself, we'll start working on projects, and we are going to take a IBM based microservices based project, and we are going to work on the top of it. Okay. So we are going to learn everything on the top of live projects. Okay, there is a open source project from IBM. We are going to use that. Okay, this is a project. It's not just a hello world. It's an open source project with 12 servers. Okay, even when you're attending any interview, okay, even when you're attending any interview, you can tell that you worked on the project. Okay, and a lot of people will think that how can you market your profile using GitHub? Okay, post the complete till the by the end of the completion of the training, we are going to contribute 30 plus repositories on GitHub. When you're going for any interviews, you can also tell that I worked on this, I worked on this, I worked on this. You can show that. Okay, so this is one thing along on your resume along with your LinkedIn profile. We are also going to add this GitHub profile. This ensures that they gives you confidence that you know a lot. Okay, this how to market your profile is something we'll talk about it in the upcoming session, but I want to show you, are we covering the market needs or not? Okay, I also want to show you how are we going to learn these things. Let me try to show you the roadmap. Okay, so I think I will take 5 more minutes. So any questions, anyone, meanwhile? So what is the strategy that we are taking as a part of this learning, and what is a prerequisite? Let's talk about all of these things. If you want to learn any of these DevOps technologies, any DevOps technology or cloud technology, the fundamental thing that you need to know is Linux. If you don't know Linux, what is Linux? Linux is a command line operating system. If you don't know Linux, that's 100% fine. We are going to start Linux from tomorrow. First thing. And where are we going to learn Linux? We are going to learn Linux on the top of cloud, not on any sandbox or any test environment. We are going to create an account on AWS. Amazon offers you an account for 1 year free. We are going to cover everything on the top of Amazon cloud. We are going to learn Linux on the top of Amazon cloud. And we are going to cover 20 plus services on cloud. 20 plus services we are going to cover on cloud. Okay. And parallelly we learn cloud and DevOps. Okay, we'll learn Linux and we'll learn Linux on the top of cloud, and we are going to implement a project on the top of this Amazon cloud in the week 1 and 2 itself, and we'll identify the problems that we faced, and then we'll automate that project using Bash. You take any job description, okay, 100 out of 95+% of the job descriptions in India, US and UK market, you see all these things. Okay, and we are going to cover 98+% of the market needs. And we are going to identify the problems, and we are going to solve that one of the problem with Bash scripting. If you don't know scripting, that's 100% fine. If you're ready, I'm going to teach you. And again, we'll see some challenges with Bash. We'll solve that with Red Hat Ansible. What is Ansible? We'll talk about it. And you take any job description that will be completely incomplete without Jenkins. Jenkins is a CI/CD framework. We are going to learn CI/CD, which is nothing but continuous integration and continuous deployment on Jenkins. We'll save our software on Nexus. We'll save everything, whatever we develop, on the top of Git. And we work like a site reliability engineers using Grafana, Prometheus. Using these are one of the top-notch observability tools. And we create the entire infrastructure in the form of Terraform. So guys, you take any job description, you go to cloud, DevOps, or any space, it is completely incomplete without Terraform. Terraform is very, very important, and each and every company is very serious about this Terraform. And with that seriousness in mind, my entire out of this 135 hours of training duration, okay, out of this 135 hours, 40 hours of training is on Terraform. Okay, this is one of the best training that we can provide in Terraform. Okay, you can become like a master in Terraform. We are going to contribute 40 hours on Terraform, and then we are going to implement the same project on Docker Kubernetes. And what is Helm? and we are going to do the software code quality analysis on SonarQube. Now another question, Manu, we are learning these many things. Are we covering the market need? Are we covering the market needs? That is another question. Let's talk about that as well. There is a very famous website called as Roadmap, roadmap.sh, where these guys tell if you want to become any particular thing, what is something you want to know. I want to become a DevOps and cloud engineer. What I need to know. So the first thing that you need to know is you need to know one programming language, but learning a programming language doesn't mean that you are a DevOps. If you know Python, or if you know Go, or if you know Bash, that is fine. We are going to learn Bash, and you need to know one operating system. And you need to know one operating system, and that operating system we are going to learn Linux. Okay, here purple is something which you are supposed to learn, and we are going to learn Red Hat Linux. And you are supposed to know Nginx and Tomcat. We are going to learn, and reverse proxy, forward proxy, firewall. We are going to learn using Nginx. We are going to learn, and Vim, Bash scripting. Okay, so in the scripting, they are telling you to learn Bash scripting. We are going to learn, and process management, performance management. All of them comes under Linux. We are going to learn everything, and you should know Git and GitHub. In the version control system, you should know GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket. We are going to learn GitHub. And then you need to know one cloud provider is what they're telling. If you want to become a cloud and DevOps, you should know one cloud. And the famous cloud is AWS Cloud, Azure Cloud, and Google Cloud. We are going to learn AWS Cloud because 75% of the market is this. And in the public cloud, these are the providers. In the private cloud, these are the providers. And in the infrastructure provisioning, we are going to learn Terraform. Okay, AWS SDK, CloudFormation, Pulumi, Terraform. So Terraform is one of the most happening thing. We are going to learn Terraform. And for the configuration management, we are going to use Ansible. Ansible is one of the most famous configuration management tool, which is now owned by Red Hat. Again, still fall under the category of open source. And in the CI/CD tools, we are going to learn Jenkins. Jenkins is one of the most highly used open source framework. We are going to use it. Okay, and in the observability space, infrastructure monitoring, we are going to use both Prometheus and Grafana. And next, for the logs, you are having thousands of servers, and all the thousands of servers are going to emit a lot of logs. And we are going to manage all the logs using something called as Elasticstack. And for the containers, if you don't know what is a container, that is 100% fine. We are going to teach everything on the top of EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service. We are going to learn Kubernetes to the production range, and Kubernetes is one of the most happening thing in the industry. We are going to cover it to the top notch. Okay, Kubernetes we are going to cover. And second, and in the cloud design patterns, we are going to talk about availability, all these things. And out of 100% of the tools that they have mentioned here, you can check 95+% of the tools you are covering in the training. Okay, which means we are 100% close to the market needs. So for example, let's try to see Naukri, DevOps job, India, Bangalore. Let's see one job description. You take any job description. Are we covering the market needs or not? You take any job descriptions, you will see whatever we discussed will be there here. Can you see this? See, this is what I'm telling. They are looking for a cloud engineer, cloud DevOps engineer. Can you see this? They are looking for cloud or DevOps engineer with a Docker and Kubernetes skill set. They're responsible for maintaining Docker and Kubernetes, Google Cloud, and he's responsible for maintaining the CI/CD, availability. He's also responsible for knowing the cloud, and he's also responsible for creating CI/CD pipeline with Jenkins. And he should know Docker and Kubernetes. He should know Terraform, Ansible. Can you see this? And they should have these skill set. Whatever I have mentioned, you take any job description in India or US market, you'll see whatever I'm going to cover, which also means we are covering 100% of the market needs. Okay, which means we are covering 100% of the market needs. You take any job description, what they're asking: relevant experience in DevOps, relevant experience in Terraform, relevant experience in CI/CD. Can you see this? You take any job description, 98% of the times in India, US, UK market, whatever we are going to cover will be there. So we are covering the market needs. Okay, is it clear? Now, another important question: who can pursue the market? Who can pursue this course? and how is the market for DevOps, and what are the services that we offer as a part of the course, and what is the level of experience that we are going to portray. Any engineer, any person who is coming from a mindset who want to learn, we are going to deliver that. Okay, so ops, QA, mainframe, admin, anyone. If you are coming from any background, if you are coming with a mindset that I want to grow, I want to learn, I am ready to invest 135 hours of training for the next 3 months. You are fit for this, because I am going to teach everything from the beginning. And anyone with established IT and industry, software industry is preferred. And if you don't have that experience also, that's fine. We'll ensure post the completion of the training, you can portray 4 to 6 years of experience, 4 to 7 years of experience you can portray. If you complete the training with a hands-on practice on a day-to-day basis, you are almost equivalent to 4 to 7 years of experience in cloud and DevOps. Okay, and any college graduate or fresher, can they start their career? Yes, they can. But when compared to the jobs, people who are coming with 2.5, 3 years of experience plus will have huge amount of job openings. But if you are coming as a college graduate, that's also fine. You can also show that, demonstrate that you learned all these things, and people will be surprised to see that you know these many skills. Okay, and anyone who is also coming from the legacy skill set, yes, you are highly welcome for this as well. And whatever the content, okay, that we are demonstrating, everything will be demonstrated. All the documents and all the thing will be shared with you on a GitHub. And people who are coming from engineering background, managerial background, lead background, product manager background, anyone are highly welcome. And even people who are coming from the non-IT background, who are ready to invest the time, who are with high passion, are also welcome. We have seen a lot of people who are coming from non-IT as well, who has shown the demonstrated history of success and moving their career to cloud and DevOps. We have people from previous batches who are working in teaching background, banks domain, mechanical background, also made their career in cloud and DevOps. Having said that, if others are working 2 hours per day, you are expected to work 3 to 4 hours per day. If you are ready to invest that much amount of time, you are ready to get into this space. Okay, and how about lab related queries and support? So since my training is mostly hands-on, project oriented and job oriented, we do majority of the times practically, which also involves a lot of practice and lab that you are supposed to do on your end. And where you are going to do everything, we are going to do on the top of Amazon Web Services, and everything is practical. And you will be onboarded to the channel where you can reach me directly. Okay, whenever you are having any sort of questions, concerns, queries, you are open to post your questions directly in the channel where you are having direct access to me, and we'll help you fixing that. And how can I connect to your servers, and how can I fix your issues? First thing, you will be working on my lab machines. On my cloud, we are having some lab machines. You are going to work on my lab machines. And the moment you say that something is not working, I can connect to your machines and can fix your issues. Okay, and in case if you are not able to understand that, we can also connect over a Zoom and can fix that. Okay, we'll connect over Zoom sessions and fix that. Okay, and a lot of people uses this opportunity, and we are going to create a communication channel where everyone used to post their questions there, so that if you're active in that channel, even if you don't have any questions, whatever the questions that others are asking will be a interview question to you. Okay, this socialization in the DevOps through the channel will ensure that you are job ready during interviews. A lot of people will use this as an opportunity to take insights, and they'll try to come out of their challenges through this. Okay, and that's it. What all we offer as a part of this training, and each and every session that we are going to teach will be recorded and will be published with you with a lifelong access. That's the first thing. And we are going to train everything on the top of 2 projects, one a very big project and another is a very small project. We are going to work from session 6 itself. We are going to work on project. The moment we learn Linux, which is one of the most prerequisite for the training, which we are going to start from tomorrow itself, Linux. Once we complete the Linux, we are going to start working on projects. And each and every session will be recorded and will be published with you right after the session. In less than 30 minutes, you'll be having the session. And each and every topic notes will be published with you. For example, this is my current batch session. So for example, let's talk how I'm sharing the notes. For example, let's take Kubernetes. So each and every topic, we are going to share notes with you So you can also make your own notes, but I'm going to give you the proper notes and what is Kubernetes and what are the commands that we are going to use, what are the content that we are going to cover, and what are the technologies that are involved. And each and every topic we are going to prepare a detailed notes to you along with the reference points that you want to check and you need to work. Okay, so everything will be detailed, notes will be shared with you, but that detailed will become more detailed if you make your own notes. We'll also tell you how to make your hand notes, but during session, what I'm trying to convey is you don't have to make your own notes. We are going to provide you the detailed notes to you. And second important thing, and post the completion of the training, we'll spend 1 to 2 hours of time to help you talk about how to clear your interview and how to prepare your interview and how to showcase your interview as a working professional in cloud and DevOps. Okay, we'll try to ensure we'll try to present you a polished CV with the projects that you have done with us. So resume preparation and support will be given. And along with that, since we have demonstrated and trained 53 batches, almost 1200 plus students were trained by me. We have a very good stack of interview questions. We are going to publish 1000 plus interview questions to you after the training. Okay. And even after the training, you can always reach me for any sort of training related questions, concerns, queries. Even your task related questions related to job related questions can also be posted. We are happy to help you. Okay, so you can post your questions like, I'm working on this, I'm getting a challenge, what are your thoughts? I have people from batch 32 33, which is nothing but 2015-16, still they message me for any sort of questions, because we believe in the community, we believe in the open source, and we believe in helping each other, because end of the day it all goes by referral. So we want you to ensure that you are in contact with us. I am in contact with you for a better rapport. So, and that's the reason in almost all the companies, majority of my students are working. So yeah, majority of them don't know my face by face, but they know my voice. And in my previous job, I hired one person who is from my batch 50 as well. So we don't know. So when he joined, he said that I joined this company a couple of months back, and I was working in this project, and he came to our project, and I was glad to meet him. So he was working as an engineering manager. So he joined the project where I'm working as an engineering manager for the team that I'm working last year. So yeah, so a lot of surprises. So yeah, I mean, as I trying to say that the content is production grade, and yeah, and that's it. I'm good to take up the questions. If you have any questions, you can post. And another thing, guys, so tomorrow meeting link remains the same. Whatever the meeting link that you have used, please use the meeting link to attend the session starting from tomorrow. Session starts sharp by 7:30 to 9. Okay, so Monday to Saturday morning 7:30 to morning 7:30 the session starts, and we are going to end the session on or before 9 o'clock. Okay, I repeat them again. The session timings from tomorrow are 7:30 to 9 o'clock India time, and if you are joining from states, 10 o'clock Eastern evening. Okay, so please use the same meeting link and please join tomorrow 7:30 sharp India time or 10 p.m. Eastern. That's it. I'm good. I'm ready to take up the questions. Any questions, anyone? Whosoever has, guys, whosoever is having questions, please try to raise your hand. I'm going to give you an unmute option. You can speak. Anyone who wants to speak, they can speak.
Hi, Manoj.
Hi, Hi, Vishal.
So like I have one question here.
Go ahead.
So like in our session, like you're going to cover the scripting. So how the programming language impact the DevOps engineer?
So programming is different. Scripting is different. Programming, you're programming some application. You're coding some application. So programming will be done using Java, C, Python.
Even like by
One
using
minute.
the Python and Go,
let me complete. Let me complete. C, Java, Python, Go. Okay. See, there are the application development languages. What we are going to do is we are going to script it using Bash. Okay. If you know Python, that's 100% fine. But in reality is majority of the do scripting using Bash. Okay. Python goes at application development front. Using Python, you can automate and you can develop the applications. Okay. But you have not seen any job description telling that I'll hire you only if you know programming language like Java and C. No. That's not true. If you know programming language like Java, C, Python, that is an added advantage, but you're not going to develop anything because that job will be done by the developer. You will never do that. Trust me. But if you know that, that will be an added advantage. And in market, there is a lot of misconception. DevOps engineer should know Java, C, Python. That is 100% inaccurate. I don't agree with that. Okay, Vishal?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Manoj. That answers my question.
Thank you so much. So, is there any batch that is available in the evening time? Because I'm packed up in the morning session.
So you are from India?
Yes, I'm from India and I work for a company, Amazon. So, which is morning 6 to in the afternoon 2 o'clock. So, I'm packed out with that particular time.
Okay, that's fine. You can also attend the session from mobile phone. And in case if you are not able to make it up, right after the session, you can also catch up the recording. I have a lot of students who are joining from EU and Australia, and they follow the recording right after the session. So we are going to publish the session in less than 30 minutes. You can watch the session anytime of your choice and try to maintain a window. If your shift completes by 4 o'clock, reach home by 5 o'clock and start watching the session by 6 o'clock and practice them and reach me if you have any questions. Majority of the people does that way. People who are joining from Europe and Australia.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Again, first 1 week of the sessions are free, guys. Attend first 1 week, see the content, quality, experience the strategy, then you can make a decision. Okay. So first 1 week of the sessions are 100% free. Attend all the offered free sessions, then you can make a decision how the quality and content is. Yeah, Krishna, go ahead. I can see your question. Hand raised. And guys, I repeat, if anyone wants to speak, you can unmute, you can raise your hand. I'm going to give you an option to speak. Yeah, Krishna, go ahead.
Yeah. So here, how about the Kubernetes and Docker? What are the things we are going to cover on that?
So we are going to cover Docker and Kubernetes in an industry standard project-oriented approach. So we are also going to make our own containers on Docker. It's not just like ready-made containers we take. We are going to make our own containers for the e-commerce project, and we are going to deploy them on the top of Kubernetes cluster. We are going to learn all the basics for 4 or 5 days. We are going to learn, and then we are going to do CI/CD on Kubernetes as well. That is the extent of Kubernetes we are going to learn. Not just what is Kubernetes, what is deployment, what is what. No, we are going to learn CI/CD on the top of Kubernetes as well.
Okay, creating clusters.
Everything. Okay, I repeat, we are going to do continuous integration and continuous deployment on Kubernetes. Okay, that is the extent that we are going to go. And we are going to containerize the entire application.
Jenkins?
Sorry?
This is via Jenkins, CI/CD
Yes.
Python? Or?
Yes, Jenkins is the most highly used CI/CD framework. So I'm going to use Jenkins.
So this Ansible and the other Terraform, so it doesn't require any Python knowledge?
No, no. Python is a programming language. You don't have to do that. And we are not going to become an application developer. Okay.
And okay, yeah.
Go ahead. You're open.
That's it, because my timings are just clashing with some other work. So
sorry?
My timings are clashing with the timings of this course. So you already answered it, right? So based on that time.
Yeah. Because we believe in, okay, so morning 7:30 or evening 10 are the most timings. We designed the training keeping the out of office hours in mind. And we don't want people to be in the middle of their office. We don't want that. And that's the reason we kept the timings before out of office hours and after out of office hours. And that's where we are also going to provide recordings as well, every session recording, because attending 100% of the sessions is not possible. That's the reason sometimes we go on vacation, and that's where recording helps. And the training duration is 3 months, guys. Okay. So for example, if you come here, so we also mentioned what is the expected end of the batch as well. We are going to publish a Google Doc. Okay, we mentioned the tentative start of the date, and end of the date will also be mentioned. So for example, the expected end of the batch is we are starting on July 9th, August, September. By October 10th, we are going to complete the training. It's a 3 months training, per day 1.5 hours. Okay. Any questions?
This training we could take the certification of this via
Yes.
using this? Or?
Yes, you can. You can attend for a certification, Amazon Certified Cloud Engineer Associate. You can apply. For professional, you need some tuning is needed, but yeah, associate level you can easily clear. But clearing a certification is not a big deal, and clearing a certification don't even need this much amount of 135 hours of practice. Any tutorial with 15 hours can ensure you clear the certification. Certification is mostly theory. And if you want to do certification, I say don't pay from your pocket. And if your company is sponsoring, then only do that. Okay, don't pay from your pocket. That's my suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah, Shanmugam, Lenovo, Mallikarjun, Anish, go ahead, please. Post your question. And 1 minute, guys, keeping the recording length in mind, I would like to stop the recording, but I would like to take up the questions. And before that, I want to say, so from tomorrow, sessions are going to start by morning 7:30 to 9 o'clock. Please ensure you join by 7:30, and meeting link remains the same. Okay. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to stop the recording. Let's try to take up the questions.